So Huff arrived to Wheeling in February 1895. By April, he was married to Caroline. And by June, she was on her deathbed. Sure, Huff played the part of the doting, oh so worried husband very well, but Reverend Haas suspected Huff of doing something unspeakably evil, especially since when he went to visit Caroline at her bedside, out of the corner of his eye, he swore that he saw Huff forcibly giving Caroline a white powder. The Reverend immediately left to find a doctor that could prove she was being poisoned. But once the Reverend and the doctor returned, Huff didn't let them or anyone else in to see Caroline, saying the physician he was speaking to was taking care of it and Caroline was doing much better. That morning, Caroline was dead. The Reverend was enraged at Huff for obviously having a hand in her death and at himself for not acting quick enough. He searched the entire town looking for Huff and found him at a barbershop, whereupon Huff immediately burst into tears, talking about how terribly devastated he was. He wasn't so devastated that he couldn't cash in on her life insurance, drain her savings, and sell her house before Caroline was even in the ground, which, he insisted, be done very quickly. Reverend Haas became an armchair detective and was desperate to figure out what happened to Caroline. He found out that Huff's bar was in financial trouble, which conveniently was taken care of by Caroline's money. Haas went from pharmacy to see if he could recognize the white powder that he was sure Huff was feeding her. He sent a photo of Huff to the mayor of the German town that Huff said he grew up in to see if he could get any information about his background. And he even snuck into Huff's house, but he couldn't find any trace of the powder. Huff returned the favor. One night, the Reverend and his wife heard some suspicious noises in their bedroom. They ran upstairs, and there was Huff, sputtering some pathetic excuse about needing to talk to Haas right away. But before the Reverend could grill him, he slipped back out the window and into the night. The next day, Huff's belongings, including his clothes, his hat, a very expensive silver pocket watch, and a note were found next to the Ohio River. Reverend Haas would never see him again, at least until he was known as Johann Hoch. There's literally no way for me to get this all in one video, but I will try to get them up one after the other.